also, before I express the true numbers, want to also explain that there are requirements for higher education in higher technical institutions in this country.
The Minister of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, Dr. David Sengeh, Tuesday, December 8, 2020, appeared at the Well of Parliament as MP dem bidon Samunam for come explain why plenty picking them we sit the 2020 WASC examination fail forget requirements for enter university. This concern not just strong up MP them arts, but same way so the public we understand say out of the about 150,000 school picking them we sit the WASC examination, now just 4.5% get university requirement. But the Minister of Education not been waste time for deny say this not true.
And when I said politicizing education, what I meant was that when we see a headline that says 4.5% people pass, that is unhelpful for this country because it's just false. It's unhelpful for this country because the people who are promoting that headline are not using the facts. WAEC in Sierra Leone has not done any analysis that they publicized. The only people who did that analysis was myself, based on the WAEC report. And when I explicitly spoke about the 4.5%, it was not pass rate. People used what I said and created a headline that they wanted to fit their story. The pass rates that WAEC could not calculate the pass rate now because they have not even finished releasing all the results across all of the countries.
Dr. Sengeh carry on for the breakdown of pass mark them, where school picking them get and say 2020 results them better pass the 2019 results, but the only thing away plenty picking them sits the 2020 WASC exam where you compare to the 2019 exam.
In 2019, for candidates who scored 3 credits, we had 12,694, 12.4%. In 2020, candidates with 3 credits was 15,833. This number for 3 credits, for 4 credits, and 5 credits actually went up between 2019 and 2020. There's something quite interesting that I will get to, but it's important to note that the number of people who have credits has risen continuously in this country. In 2019, total number of students with 3 credits, 26,170. In 2020, 31,004. However, the percentage, because that's what the main issue is, in 2019, the percentage of students with 3 credits was 25.5%. And I say 3 credits because with 3 credits in one sitting, even in the universities that we have, many students can go to higher and technical institutions. In 2020, that percentage dropped to 22.2%. But the drop in percentage is only because we expanded the candidature by about 5%, by about 5 times, 5x. We changed the number of people who can take exams because the government decided to pay for WASC fees and expanded that by about 5 times. We have an increase in number of people who passed, but the percentage went down because percentages are dependent on the denominator, the total number of candidates.
The Minister of Education, Dr. Sengeh, not been waste time for point finger by the past administration at the Ministry of Education. For what he say, they not been labeled a foundation and not be take decision based on evidence and praise the free quality education program with President Bio Brinkam.
I met an educational system in this country that had an inexistent foundation for our children, that had lack of systems, that had lack of systems, and that was not informed by data. And I will talk a little bit about where that came from. The Commissions of Inquiry report, which this Parliament in 2008 to 2010 under the instruction of the then president, spoke and was summoned because of the poor performance at that point in 2008. The Ramanjan Commission is what led to SSS-4 as one of the interventions. That report also led to the ban on pregnant girls accessing school. We have read that report, and unfortunately, between 2010 and 2018, the details of that report were not executed. I have traveled this country and I've been to every district. I have engaged with honourable members in this world in the field. We have engaged with education stakeholders, the SLTU, CPSS, NACOT, the civil society. The committee chair for basic education is always in my office. The students, the education sector plans, and the annual school census, these are things that we have used to inform this engagement with honourable members today. So what is FQSC? What is the Free Quality School Education? I'll give a brief overview of that. I may be biased, but I think it's the most well thought and most ambitious project of our country ever. It is based on and is driven by values of equity, justice, and development. Our approach is data, evidence, policy, technology, and impact focused. And it is what underpins the National Development Plan titled Education for Development and the President's Human Capital Development Agenda. FQSC is national and inclusive. FQSC beneficiaries include every child, whether you're in government, government-assisted, mission, private, community schools. Everyone has benefited and continue to benefit from FQSC. We have expanded basic education to, for the first time in this country, include pre-primary and early childhood education. We also, for the first time in this country, expanded education to include senior secondary school with tuition free. At a period when the world is reducing investment in education, Sierra Leone is one of the only countries who has expanded its financing and resourcing to education. When we talk globally, in terms of public investment in education, Sierra Leone ranks #1. The main features of FQSC is obviously the tuition-free for government and government-assisted from pre-primary through senior secondary school, as I mentioned. Public examination waiver for all children, which has meant that most of our children now have an opportunity to transition from primary to secondary, from junior to senior, and from senior to higher and technical institutions. We've expanded on teacher training. We've strengthened the Teaching Service Commission, where they now have an office in every district, and we've expanded teacher support. We've reassessed teachers, 4,000 of them, to put them on the right pay grade. We've continued professional development, and we have provided teacher and learning materials across this entire country. We have infrastructure. We've expanded and built classrooms, hundreds of classrooms, renovated in 4 districts. We have built furniture that have been supplied across the schools nationwide. And just to focus on quality, in the last 14 years, there was no curriculum and research department at the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education. We have stood that up. We have established a basic education curriculum framework. We've established a civic education curriculum framework. And for the first time in this period, expanded and developed syllabuses for all subjects in basic education.
Different questions have been come out from MP them. We go to the Minister of Education and they been try for respond to plenty of them and also it been go like.
Mr. Minister, imagine that 4 people are sharing one textbook. How would you think? How would you think learning will take place? 2, what is the current status of the school feeding program?
Thank you.
3, the results withheld. How many of them? And what yardsticks? What yardstick you use to determine the malpractice? The yardstick you use to determine the malpractice that led you to the seizure of those results. Number 4. The minister said gradually the people's population grows from 35 to over 100,000. Is it because of mass promotion or quality promotion? Which is which? Thank you.
I do want to also respond to the question about 4 people sharing one textbook. What do we prefer? Do you prefer 80 people in one classroom meant for 40? Or do you prefer 40 people met in one classroom meant for 40 and the other 40 are selling mango on a mango tree? And are street children out of school? As the people of this country, we have to make a decision that we want all of our children in school. That means if they have to share one textbook, 4 to 1 textbook, we thank the Lord and will continue, all of us, to ensure that they have it. Because access to education, is the singular and only way to have transformation and development of any country in this world.
About how you will handle brain drain. Brain drain in our various secondary schools. As an alumnus of Magoroka Secondary School, one challenge that keeps on coming whenever I attend the AGM is brain drain. The glaring lack of English teachers and chemistry teachers in rural schools. Number 2, we want to see line being drawn between principals of school and their teachers. In those days, you see the glaring difference. Whenever a teacher appears, that is so recalcitrant, whenever a principal appears, not only the pupils will tremble, but even teachers will panic at the presence of principals. Today, we are not seeing much of that. Principals and teachers of school are just the same. Number 3, what has been your stance on remote allowances for rural teachers? Remote allowances, we used to see that in those days. And number 4, the reading culture. The other day, I pinpointed as a mark, the reading culture is slowly dying out like a morning dew. We've seen the pains more taking edge than the gains of modern technology. The pains is making mark. The use of WhatsApp and Facebook by pupils is not helping them at all. Not at all. The intended intention that we had, that modern technology will help them, we're not seeing the drawbacks or the disadvantages of modern technology. For the pupils, they will spend the whole time in watching season films. Nigerian movies. I'm coming to the parents. Nigerian movies is taking mark or point or more time in the lives of our pupils. Number 3, what has been your engagement with parents monitoring their very pupils? Then policy, parents monitoring their very pupils.
In terms of brain drain, I think you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right that we have brain drain, and I don't know, it's a solution that requires all of us to address. And currently, there is an ongoing annual education week on Friday. His Excellency will be at Bintumani. You're all welcome for us to talk about the forum on the future of education. Every citizen of this country is invited to participate.
For Salone Parliament Eye on Gbla TV Online, Mina Abdullah Gbla, the reports.